G'day guys, I've fallen trapped to the Hobbyking sales again. I've been looking at this plane for a long time. I've always wanted a biplane, and it's finally come onto special. Dynam Pits Python, and it's the plug and fly. I thought I'd do a quick unbox, show you what's in there, how it's packed, and throw it together. This plane's been around for a while, so I know there's lots of other videos. I'll try and make it quick and just give you some of my thoughts. Let's get the box open. And inside, some empty bags. Lots of empty bags. And loose pieces. And I have to say, I've had a few different planes, and I think almost all of them have been packed better than this. Let's hope there's no damage. Wow, that is not very straight at all. Again, it's not a very straight piece of foam. The wheels, picking those up feels sturdy. Canopy, looks like a little bit of dried up glue, pilot, Y connector, prop, aluminium parts, pieces, looks like some push rods, wings individually wrapped. Let's hope they're a bit straighter than the rest of the surfaces. It does feel like the paint is powdery, I guess doesn't feel like it's a matte finish, you know. Big splodges of glue, little mark in the foam there. Just connected up, already fitted there. To check all of there's some fiberglass in there to connect the top and bottom. Marks, dents. It's a fairly comprehensive looking book. ESC. Bullet connectors, so we'll have to change that out. Rudder, elevator. And let's get that laid out on the bench, see if we can get a better look at it. Alright, so here's a closer look at all the parts I've laid out. You know, generally, yes, it looks okay, but really disappointed with the state of the tail feathers. They are terrible. Quite sure what I'm going to do about that just at the minute, but that is, I mean, it's obviously never going to fly straight. Sure what to do about that. You know, lots of little screws and looks like glass fiber for the wings. 2 props, which is nice. A lot of these models only come with 1 prop, and if the inevitable happens and you're sort of stuck there, usual. This is saying pilot glue, and it feels like it's solid, but there's 2 other containers of glue here. Both look like the corners of the glue has started to seep out. Let's start having a look at the instructions, which do look pretty comprehensive, and see where we should start. Okay, so first job in the book is to add the wheels, but reading a couple of the forums, or the RC groups forum particularly, one of the suggestions there is to open up the airflow through the front of the cowl. So what I might do is just cut a few extra slots out of the cowl, just a thin plastic, just to free up a bit more air. So 3 bags with screws, nuts, washers, trying to figure out the right set of screws for what thing, since nothing's labelled. I'm going to go with the horns in here. That's going to be for control surfaces. Nuts and washers and screws. And even though they all look like self-tapping screws, I'm guessing they're going to fix the wings on. And in here with the screwdriver and Allen key, the 3rd bag, I think this is the couple of screws here, the 10mm screws for the wheels, and then affixing the struts, the wing mounting struts on top. I'm going to open this bag first. I'm hoping this is the right bag. And then the other 2 for the other parts by powers of deduction, hopefully. Here's a small thing. On this side of the foam there's an indentation from where the arm can sit. On the other side it's flat, it sits up a little bit from the plastic. On the front it does actually drop all the way into the foam. And press right down, so I guess that gives it the right angle of attack. I'm not sure about the back part here. If I might just trim maybe just a little bit of foam out of there just to even up on the other side. Might do that before we screw it down. Okay, all levelled out on this side now. We'll just drop in a few screws. I think it is important for this to sit flat. You do need to make sure that the struts here are flush up against the foam and push it in. And the instructions do call for a little bit of glue just to hold that into place. And I have heard that quite a few people, if you don't glue it into place, that will pop up. And before I do glue that down, I'm going to make sure that the electronics is connected up first, and we have to change that to an XT60. So the next step is to connect up the Aileron Servo. So I've put the Y harness in there. I'm using the FreeSky V8 R4, and I might also throw in the ESC while we've got it, the throttle, into channel 3. And I can see the elevator in there as well. Elevator into channel 2, and when I find the rudder, we'll get the rudder in there as well. Negative on the inside. And that is there, ready to go, to connect up. And it's got a bit of Velcro. I might Velcro that in, stop that rattling around. Before I screw the wing in, I've connected up the receiver. That's Velcroed into the bottom. I've actually hooked up a battery that I did have with the bullet connectors and tested to make sure everything's connected before I screw this down. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so with the bottom wing attached, the next step is to put in the supports. And here's something important, is that the top and bottom of these supports is different. So the bottom part is a longer, pointier section, and that's the section you want to attach to the bottom wing, and that top section is the shorter section. So you can see this is a lot longer on the bottom and a shorter V on the top. So we'll screw all those on, and then the top wing. Okay, so I might revise my earlier statement. The bag here with the glue and the control horns has actually got the nuts and bolts, which I think will hold on the wing supports. Got some blue Loctite here. We'll put a little dab on there. And I've also found the washers there as well, and I think I might put the washer so under the head, sorry, under the nuts as well. Just these things are tiny, and this is going to be a fiddly job. So I won't subject you to all of it, but the Loctite, nut, bolt, washer. Probably one other note at this point too is just to do these up just finger tight, not too tight, just to give it a bit of play, a bit of movement. Well, the holes do look reasonably accurate. I just want to be sure I can get the top wing on and the bottom wing lined up before I tighten all those up. Okay, so now with all of the wings on attached at the bottom, it's time to put the top wing on. And that should just drop on and all line up. Which it actually does. One thing to note here is I've got the tabs on the wing on the inside of the wing stays, wing supports. The black things. There, it's on the inside. More screwing. So it's time to put the tail pieces together. And they just slot together and then screw down into the back. Do need to put the control horns on first. Although it's not in the instructions, I might do that. It might be a bit easier to deal with. Just pushes on. Well, I might add some glue in there. That doesn't feel like a really solid join. So with the two parts together, I'm just going to add it into the tail section, making sure that the rudder, bottom half of the rudder hinge, it fits in the slot, and then the front pushes down into place. I'm hoping that actually that little rudder hinge on the bottom, by having that in, it might straighten that out a little. And then we just add in a couple of screws into the bottom here. And the tail wheel piece here gets fitted with two of the shorter screws, the 6mm screws. Okay, finishing touches, control horns in, and push rods, and the linkages on the wing installed. I'll do some trimming up. Still got the pilot to go, canopy. Looking at that tail though, I need to do something about that. It's still got a lot of curve in it. Certainly not straight by any stretch. So I don't know if we might need to stick some carbon into there and give it a bit of stiffness. Alright, a few more steps and we're done. I've put some polyurethane over the paint. I think it was a bit sort of chalky, the paint, so I thought give it a coat of polyurethane. This is the first time I have polyurethaned my plane. I've noticed there that the paint does come off a little with the polyurethane, with the applicators that I was using. It's got a good shine to it, though it's still a bit wet. Looking forward to seeing what it looks like once it's dry. I've tried to put a pretty thin coat just to protect the paint. Hopefully it will dry hard and protect the surface as well. She's looking good. The tail's still got a little bit of bend, but putting the stays on the back has straightened it out somewhat. Alright, hopefully the next time we see it will be all finished. Alright, so we're going to run up a watt test with the new Zippy Compact 35C 4-cell. I'm hoping that's going to get picked up. I'll call it out as we run it up. It's about 25%, 16.5 watts. It's about 50%, 143 watts, 9 amps. 75, 350 watts, 23 amps. 100%, now 520. And wow, does that have some pull. Alright guys, there's the finished product. I knew I was going to make a long video, even though I said I'd try and make it short. You know what, the polyurethane finish has come up really well. It's nice and smooth. It's still pretty flat, the finish. It's not super shiny, although it does look a bit shiny under these lights. I've added the stickers, the Canopy, and the pilot in there. I've done all the surfaces in accordance with the book. I've got a bunch of different batteries, which I'm kind of curious to see how we'll go with CG. I've got the Nanotechs and some Rhinos. These are the heaviest ones I've got. Then the Nanotechs, and in the sale they had the Zippy Compact. So they're a bit lighter again. All around that 250 gram mark. So we'll see if that makes a difference. It's right on 85mm CG with the lightest battery in there. So I think a little bit heavier will bring the CG further forward. Let's see how she flies. Next one's the maiden. Thanks for watching guys. If you got any questions about the build or anything that I've done on the video, post it as a comment and I'll get back to you.